My father died believing his family would stay united. He was wrong. Days after the will was read, my inheritance was gone. Not misplaced, not delayed, taken. The bank said someone came in with my name and my documents. There was only one person who knew everything. My sister. You are watching Betrayal Story Central. Let's step into the story. I never expected anything dramatic to happen that afternoon. I was sitting at my small dining table, sorting through emails when my phone vibrated. The caller ID showed a name I had not seen in weeks. Graham Lister, family attorney. I stared at the screen for a moment before answering. "Edgar, good afternoon," he said. His voice carried a seriousness I felt, even through the phone. "I need you to come to my office today. It concerns your father's estate." My stomach tightened. I thought everything had been settled. The will was simple. The inheritance was supposed to be held until all documents cleared. "What happened?" I asked. "It is better discussed in person," he replied. "Please come soon." Minutes later, I was on my way. The city looked the same as always. People walked with purpose. Cars hummed along the road. But inside me, something felt slightly off, like the air had shifted without warning. When I arrived at Graham's office, he greeted me with a tight smile. He usually spoke with warmth, but today he looked distracted. He motioned for me to take a seat across from his desk. He opened a folder. My name sat on the front page. "Edgar," he said slowly, "the inheritance account has been emptied." I blinked. "I am sorry, what?" He slid a sheet across the table. A bank withdrawal form, tens of thousands gone, signed under my name. "I did not make this withdrawal," I said quietly. Graham nodded. "I assumed so." The signature raised questions. "It does not match the one on your legal documents." I picked up the paper. My chest tightened as I studied the signature. It looked like mine at a glance, but the curves were wrong. The spacing was off. Someone copied my name without knowing how my hand actually moved. "When did this happen?" I asked. "A week ago," he said, "in person, at the bank branch in Fairmeadow." Fairmeadow. That was 20 minutes from my mother's house, close to where my sister Marceline spent most of her time. A quiet thought came to me. Sharp, uninvited, uncomfortable, but I pushed it away as quickly as it came. Graham watched my expression. "There is more," he said. "The person who made the withdrawal presented an identification card, a photo ID that matched your name." I let his words sink into me. Someone used my name, my identity, my father's trust, and emptied the account. I felt something warm in my chest. Not anger, not yet. More like disbelief trying to grow into something heavier. "Do you know anyone who would have access to your documents?" Graham asked. I hesitated. My mind moved through memories I did not want to revisit. Growing up with Marceline, her small comments, her jealousy, her resentment, her quiet belief that she deserved everything more than I did. But she was my sister. She was family. And family should not be the first suspect. Still, a cold truth sat quietly in my mind. Only someone close to me could attempt something this bold. Graham reached into the folder again and pulled out another sheet. "I want you to look carefully at this," he said. "Tell me if anything seems familiar." He slid the withdrawal form toward me. The room felt smaller. My heartbeat felt louder, and then I saw it. A small detail at the bottom of the page. A flourish on the final letter of my name. A flourish I never used. But Marceline did. My breath caught. I whispered, "This is not my handwriting." And for the first time, I felt the truth creeping toward me. Someone I trusted had taken what my father left for me. I drove home from the lawyer's office in silence. The city outside my window moved normally, but nothing inside me felt normal anymore. I kept replaying the signature in my mind. The slanted loop, the exaggerated curl on the final letter, the same curl my sister Marceline used on every note she ever wrote. I did not want to believe it. I did not want to let the suspicion settle. But truth has a way of returning, even when you try to push it aside. When I reached my apartment, I sat on the couch and let my mind drift back to the early years, before everything shifted, before resentment found a home between us. Marceline used to be my shield, my loud defender, my older sister who refused to let anyone speak to me with disrespect. I remembered the nights she helped me study when I struggled, I remembered how she brought me snacks when I stayed up too late on homework. I remembered how she told me stories to chase away fear after our father scolded me too harshly. But somewhere along the line, something in her changed. It started quietly. A harmless comment here, a tired sigh there. "You always get the easy path," she said once while drying dishes. "You never have to hustle," she added another day. "You do not even know how lucky you are." I laughed it off each time. I thought she was stressed. I thought it was simple frustration. But over the years, the comments sharpened. She began comparing everything. If our father praised my work, she rolled her eyes. If I bought something new, she asked who paid for it. If I succeeded at something, she withdrew into her room and stayed silent for hours. The first time she raised her voice at me was the night I received a scholarship offer. I walked into the living room holding the letter. I was excited, nervous, proud. I wanted to show her. She looked at the paper, then at me. "Of course," she said. "Of course it is you. You always get everything." Before I could speak, she added, "You always get what I deserve." Her words stayed with me for years. They never left, but I buried them because she was my sister. I tried to understand her struggles. She worked 2 jobs. She helped our mother during the worst years of our father's illness. She carried responsibilities I did not share. But resentment is a seed that grows in silence, no matter how much love surrounds it. The biggest change came during the final year of our father's life. He became frail, quiet, thoughtful. He spoke to me often, asking about my plans, my dreams, my future. He trusted me with small things, passwords, papers, conversations he did not share with anyone else. Marceline noticed. She did not say anything, but she noticed. I remember one evening when she watched him hand me an envelope. She stood in the kitchen doorway with a look I could not name. Not anger, not sadness. Something darker, something deeper. A mixture of envy and fear. I asked her if she was all right. She smiled, a smile that did not touch her eyes. "I am fine," she said. "Everything is fine." But after that day, the distance grew. She stopped joining family dinners. She left the house early and returned late. She avoided conversations with me unless she needed something. During the last week of our father's life, she barely spoke to me at all. And yet, when he passed, she clung to me at the funeral as if nothing had ever happened, as if none of the distance existed. I held her, believing grief had softened her again. I see now that I wanted to believe that. The truth is rarely what we expect. It waits quietly behind familiar faces. It hides in gestures and memories. I leaned back on my couch and closed my eyes. Everything made sense now. Every comment, every glare, every quiet shift. The signature on that form was not just forged. It was practiced, perfected. She had been preparing for this. As that realization settled in my chest, my phone buzzed on the table. A message from my cousin appeared on the screen. "Edgar, we need to talk. It is about your sister." I stared at my cousin's message for a long moment. "Edgar, we need to talk. It is about your sister." My chest tightened. I called him immediately. He picked up on the second ring. "Edgar," he said, "I am at home. Can you come over?" There was something nervous in his tone. Not casual, not playful, heavy. "I will be there in 20 minutes, I said. I grabbed my keys and left the apartment. The air outside felt colder than it should have. The drive to his place felt longer than usual. Every traffic light, every turn, every pause gave my mind room to wander. What did he know? How long had he known it? Why now? When I arrived, he opened the door before I knocked. His name was Nolan. He was a few years older than me, usually relaxed, usually joking. Today, his face was tight. "We need to sit," he said. We went into the small living room. He closed the door and pulled the curtain slightly. He sat across from me and took a breath. "This stays between us," he said, "at least for now." I nodded. "Tell me everything." He hesitated, rubbed his palms together, then started. "I was at Fairmeadow last week," he said. "I went to meet a friend near the bank. I saw your sister there." My heart skipped. "Marceline?" "Yes," he continued. "She was with a man I have seen once before. Tall, dark jacket, the one she dated a while back, the one your father disliked." I remembered him, callous, disinterested, always scanning the room for something better. What were they doing? I asked. Nolan sighed. At first I thought it was nothing, but then I saw them at the counter inside the bank. She was signing documents. He stood close, speaking quietly to her. He looked at me carefully. I did not think much of it until I heard about the inheritance. Then I remembered something else. He reached for his phone, scrolled for a moment, then showed me a photo. It was grainy, taken from a distance through the glass, but clear enough. There she was, Marceline, standing at the bank counter, pen in hand, leaning over a stack of papers. My mouth felt dry. This was last week? I asked. He nodded. The same day the funds were withdrawn, he said. My heartbeat slowed and grew louder at the same time. Every detail lined up. The timing, the location, the bank, the forged signature. My name. She stood where I was supposed to stand. She took what I was supposed to receive. She did it with someone who had never cared about our family. Nolan spoke again. I did not know about the inheritance when I saw them. When I heard, I connected the dots. I did not want to accuse her without proof, but you needed to know. I leaned back and stared at the ceiling for a moment. The room felt smaller. The air felt heavier. Thank you, I said quietly. He watched me. What are you going to do? He asked. I need more than this, I replied. I need to see what the bank has. I need the forms. I need confirmation. He nodded. If you need me to speak to anyone, I will, he said. I left his house with the image burned into my mind. Marceline at the counter, my name on the withdrawal slip, a man beside her who had always chased money. I drove straight to Graham's office. He looked surprised when I walked in without an appointment. Edgar, he said, did you find something? Yes, I answered. And you did too. I need every detail you have on that withdrawal. He led me into his office and closed the door. We requested more information from the bank, he said. They sent additional documents this morning. He opened his folder again. Inside, there were photocopies of the withdrawal slip, the ID, and a camera still of the transaction. He placed the bank still on the table. I felt like the floor moved. The image was clearer than Nolan's. Same counter, same date, same bank. Marceline leaning over the desk, her ex standing slightly behind her, her face turned toward the clerk. My name typed at the top of the form. Graham spoke gently. The ID she used had your name. The photo was blurred during printing, but the hairline and frame do not match you. The bank clerk assumed it was an old picture. No one questioned it. He moved the ID copy toward me. The name read Edgar Holt, but the face, although slightly smudged, carried her outline. Her jaw, her eyes. I stared at it until my vision blurred. She did this, I said. Graham nodded. I cannot state motive, he said, but the evidence points to her. The bank is cooperating. There is also a signature expert who reviewed this. He slid another page to me, a short analysis. At the bottom it read, the signature on the withdrawal form is a forgery. It imitates the style of Mr. Holt but matches patterns consistent with another hand. I let out a slow breath. What can we do? I asked. We have legal path, he replied. But first we must be prepared. This will not be a simple family disagreement. It will be a formal accusation. He paused. Are you ready for that, Edgar? I thought about my father, about all the years he worked, about the trust he placed in me. I thought about my sister, the one who used to defend me, the one who now stole from me. I lifted my gaze. I did not start this, I said, but I will not let it end like this. Graham closed the folder slowly and said, then the next step is clear. You will have to face her, with proof in your hand. I drove to my mother's house with a tight feeling in my chest. The house had always been a place of warmth for me, but that day it felt like I was walking toward a fire I could not see but could already feel. When I stepped inside, my mother was in the living room arranging flowers. The scent of lavender filled the air. It should have felt comforting, but it didn't. Everything looked normal, which almost made the truth feel unreal. Edgar, she said with a tired smile, you came early. Are you all right? Before I could answer, Marceline walked in from the kitchen carrying a cup of tea. Her eyes widened for a split second when she saw me. Then she composed herself and placed the cup on the table. "What brings you here?" she asked softly, as if she already knew. I sat down. My mother joined me. Marceline leaned against the doorway with one hand crossed over the other. "I need to ask something," I said. "And I want a clear answer." My mother frowned. "What is it?" I reached into my bag and pulled out the photocopy of the withdrawal slip. I placed it on the coffee table. My mother leaned closer. "What is this?" she asked. Marceline glanced at it, then looked away quickly. "It is a bank document," I said. "The form used to empty the inheritance account." My mother's eyes lifted to mine slowly. "I thought the funds were still pending," she said. "They were," I replied, "until someone used my name to claim them." Marceline's jaw tightened slightly. She kept her arms folded. My mother looked at the signature. She squinted. "This is not your handwriting," she whispered. "I know," I said quietly. Silence filled the room. Marceline finally spoke. "Why are you bringing this here, Edgar? What does this have to do with us?" I looked at her carefully. "You were at the Fairmeadow Bank last week," I said. Her eyes flicked toward me. "So? You were seen with someone, signing documents." She let out a small breath and shook her head. "This is ridiculous." I reached into my bag again and placed Nolan's photo on the table, the one showing her at the counter. My mother covered her mouth. "Marceline," she whispered. Marceline's voice snapped. "That picture is blurry. It could be anyone." "The bank confirmed the date," I said, "and the signature expert confirmed the forgery." My mother's eyes filled with tears. "Tell me this is not true," she said to her daughter. Marceline straightened. Her voice sharpened. "Do you really think I would do something like this?" she asked. "Do you think I would steal from my own brother, from my own family?" "You were at the bank," I said quietly. "You used an ID with my name." "Enough," she snapped. "You do not know what you are talking about." My mother stood up. "Marceline, please look at me." She did not. She stared at me instead, eyes cold. "You should be ashamed," she said, "accusing your own sister after everything we have been through. Father just passed, and this is what you bring to the house?" I felt the words cut into me, not because of the accusation, but because she said them so easily, so naturally, as if she had rehearsed them. She took a step closer. "You always think everything revolves around you," she said. "You always assume people want what you have. Maybe the problem is that you cannot stand the idea of sharing." My mother looked torn. Her eyes moved between both of us, confused and afraid. "Edgar," she said, "maybe you misunderstood something." The words hit me like a cold wave. "Misunderstood," I said. "The documents, the ID, the signature, the bank still, all misunderstood?" My mother hesitated. Her silence answered the question for me. Marceline placed a hand on her shoulder. "Do not let him stress you," she said gently. "He is overreacting." I watched her, her calm, her confidence, her ability to twist truth into something soft enough to swallow. It made sense now how she deceived the bank, how she manipulated our mother, how she stayed one step ahead. She leaned close as she passed behind me. Her voice brushed my ear. "You will not win this," she whispered. My breath froze. I stood up slowly. "I am not fighting you," I said. "I am fighting for the truth." She smiled, a small, cold smile. "The truth is whatever people believe," she replied. My mother looked at me as if waiting for me to calm down, to apologize, to let it go. But I saw everything clearly now. Family ties were not enough to hold truth hostage. As I walked out the door, my phone buzzed. It was a message from the lawyer. "Edgar, I received something new. You need to see this immediately." The moment I stepped outside my mother's house, I exhaled sharply. The air felt thin. The quiet street looked calm, but nothing inside me felt calm anymore. I reached for my phone to open the lawyer's message. It contained one line. "I have something you must see. Do not wait." I got into my car and drove straight to his office. My thoughts ran ahead of me, circling the same painful truth. Marceline lied without blinking. She made me the villain in front of our mother. She denied everything with a confidence that did not come from innocence. She hid something, something bigger than the forgery. When I arrived at Graham's office, he opened the door before I even knocked. His face looked tense. "Sit," he said. "We received a file from the bank's internal review, But that is not the only thing. He handed me a printed packet of papers. "What is this?" I asked. "A copy of communications the bank recovered from a device used during the transaction," he said quietly. "It links to your sister's number." I stared at him. "You mean messages?" "Yes, they were backed up in the system because of a technical issue. Not common, but it happens." My hands felt cold as I opened the packet. The first page held a screenshot, a text thread between Marceline and her former partner, Caden. My heart dropped as I read. Marceline: "He will not know. He trusts me too much." Caden: "That is why this will work. Just get the ID ready." I swallowed hard. Graham watched me closely. "There is more," he said. I turned the page. Marceline: "Once the money is released, I want the account closed immediately. I cannot risk him finding it." Caden: "He will not. He never pays attention to anything." My stomach tightened. She planned everything. Not out of panic, not out of desperation, but with precision. I turned another page. Marceline: "After I get the funds, he will have to disappear from the family. I cannot let him stand in my way again." A sharp chill ran through me. Again. That word repeated itself in my mind. This was never about a single act of greed. It was deeper, older, rooted in years of resentment she never confronted. I kept reading. Another message from her. "He is too soft. He will not fight back." A quiet anger rose in my chest. Not loud, not explosive, just steady. She thought I would stay silent. She thought I would fold like I always did. She thought I would protect the family reputation instead of myself. Graham rested his hand on the edge of the desk. "This is enough evidence for a full case," he said. "Forgery, identity theft, financial fraud, premeditation." I nodded slowly. My throat felt tight. "Edgar," he continued, "I know this is painful, but this shows intent. She planned to remove you permanently from the inheritance and from influence in the family." I took a breath, a deep one. Then I looked at the messages again. My sister, my own sister. The person who used to help me study. The person who told me stories when I was afraid. The person who said she would always protect me. I stared at the betrayal written in black ink. I asked quietly, why would she hate me this much? Graham did not answer. He did not know. No one did. Only she could explain where her resentment grew from. But explanations would not undo the damage. There were more messages near the bottom of the packet. Short, rushed, written hours after the withdrawal. Caden: "We should leave town. He will ask questions." Marceline: "Let him. Mother will take my side. She always does." My chest tightened again. She was right. Our mother defended her even when the proof was on the table. Graham pointed at the last message on the page. "This is the one that concerns me most." I read it slowly. Marceline: "If he pushes, I will make him look unstable. He will be alone." The room felt colder. She did not just take the money. She built a plan to destroy my credibility, to isolate me, to make the family doubt me. She carved a space for me at the edge of the family picture, far away, exiled, voiceless. I placed the papers on the desk and leaned back. "I have to confront her again," I said. Graham nodded. "You do, but this time, you will not go alone, and you will not go unprepared." I closed my eyes for a moment. Everything inside me felt heavy, but something else lived beneath the weight. Resolve. When I stood to leave, Graham said something that made my steps freeze. "Edgar, there is another file, one you have not seen yet. It involves your father." Graham placed a second folder on his desk. He did not open it. He did not say much about it. He only said, "We will get to this later. First, you need to handle your sister." His tone carried a warning, a quiet one, a necessary one. I left his office with a packet of messages tucked tightly under my arm. Every word on those pages felt heavy. Each line reminded me of the distance that had grown between me and Marceline, a distance I ignored, a distance she used. The drive to my mother's house felt different this time. No hesitation, no confusion, only purpose. When I walked in, the house was strangely quiet. My mother sat on the sofa with a worried expression. Marceline stood beside the staircase as if waiting for me. Her arms were crossed again. Her eyes held the same cold confidence she had earlier. "You came back," she said. I placed the packet on the table without responding. My mother looked at it. "What is that?" "Proof," I said. "And the truth." Marceline scoffed. "You and your dramatic statements. What now?" I opened the packet and spread the first few pages across the table. The copies of her messages with Caden. My mother gasped when she saw her daughter's name printed in the chat screenshots. "What is this?" she asked softly. Marceline stepped forward quickly. "Mother, these are fake. He is making things up to frame me." I turned the next page. Her message about preparing the ID. Her message about closing the account. Her message about ensuring I had no place in the family. My mother's hand trembled. "Marceline," she whispered, "tell me these are not yours?" Marceline glared at me. "You really think I would write something like that? Anyone can fake a screenshot." I leaned forward slightly. "These came directly from the bank's system," I said. "The device used during the withdrawal backed up data automatically. Your number is tied to every message." Her jaw clenched. I turned another page. The grainy photo Nolan took. Then the bank's security still. Clearer, sharper, undeniable. My mother gasped again. She covered her mouth and stared at the image. "Marceline," she said, voice breaking, "please look at me." But Marceline did not. She stared at the photos with a blank expression, a mask cracking slowly. I placed the forged signature analysis next. Her hands curled into fists. "This is harassment," she said. "You are doing this to destroy me. You always wanted to make me look weak." "This is not about weakness," I said quietly. "This is about what you did. To me. To our father's legacy. To this family." She took a step back. My mother reached for her arm. "Why did you do this?" Marceline pulled away. Her voice rose sharply. "Because I deserved it," she said. "I deserved everything he gave you. I took care of him. I stayed in this house. I carried all the responsibility while you lived your life freely. Do you know how it feels to watch him praise you while I disappeared into the background?" Tears filled my mother's eyes. "But to steal?" she asked. "To lie? To hurt your own brother?" Marceline turned to me with fire in her eyes. "You think you are special," she said. "You think you deserve everything. You walk around quiet and noble, and everyone treats you like you are the victim. But I am the one who sacrificed. I am the one who stayed when things fell apart." I kept my voice steady. "You could have talked to me," I said. "You could have told me you were hurting. Instead, you made a plan. You forged my name. You emptied the account. You tried to erase me." She laughed, a short, bitter sound. "You were already halfway erased," she said. "I only finished what life started." My mother stepped back as if the words struck her physically. I looked at my sister, the same person who once protected me from school bullies, the same person who sat beside me during childhood fevers, now a stranger. I placed the final page on the table, her message about making me look unstable. My mother covered her face. "Marceline," she cried softly, "what have you done?" For the first time, Marceline hesitated. Her breathing shook. Her mask cracked. Then she pushed past both of us. "This conversation is over," she said. She stormed toward the door. But before she left, she turned and pointed at me. "You think you won? You did not. You have no idea what is coming." She slammed the door and disappeared into the late afternoon sunlight. The house stayed silent. My mother cried quietly. I stood still. The truth had broken the room. Then my phone buzzed. A new message from Graham. "Edgar, bring your mother. The second file concerns her, too." My mother and I drove to Graham's office in silence. She kept her hands folded in her lap, and every few minutes she let out a quiet breath as if she were afraid of what waited for us. I had never seen her this shaken. Her love for both of us had been constant since childhood, but now that love had collided with truth, and she did not know where to stand. When we reached the office, Graham opened the door gently. "Please come in," he said. My mother sat down slowly. Her eyes were red. Her hands trembled. Graham placed the second folder on the table. "I need to warn you," he said softly. This will be difficult to hear. My mother nodded. He opened the folder. This file contains information your father left behind. Documents he prepared months before his passing, notes, letters, financial details, and a message addressed to both of you. My mother's breathing changed, soft, uneven. He handed her a handwritten page. She stared at it for a long moment before reading silently. Her lips tightened, her eyes filled with tears. "May I read it?" I asked. She handed it to me with shaking fingers. I read my father's words slowly. "Marceline, I know you feel overshadowed. I know the burden you carry is heavy. I know you think I missed your sacrifices, but I saw them all." My chest tightened. "Edgar, I know you feel distant from your sister. I know you stay silent to keep peace, but silence will not heal what time has broken." My mother covered her mouth. Then the letter shifted. "My dear daughter, I could not leave the inheritance in your care. Not because I loved you less, but because your heart is restless and wounded. You have battled envy for years, even when you tried to hide it. The pressure would break you." My mother began to cry quietly. He continued, "I hoped leaving the inheritance to Edgar would ease your burden, not inflame it. I hoped you would see it as protection, not preference." I exhaled slowly. My greatest fear was that your resentment would grow if not addressed. I pray you both talk openly after I am gone. I pray truth does not destroy this family." My mother sobbed, deep, heartbroken. Graham gave her time. When she could finally speak, she whispered, "He saw everything. He saw her pain. He saw the distance. He saw what none of us wanted to admit." Her voice broke again. "She has been fighting shadows for years." I placed the letter gently on the desk. "She needed help," I said. "Not money, not pressure." My mother nodded. "She was always so strong. I thought she could handle everything." Graham leaned forward. "There is more," he said. He placed another document in front of us. A bank log. Not recent. Old. Very old. It showed small withdrawals made by Marceline over the years from an account my father kept separate. Not the inheritance. Another fund. "Your father found out," Graham said. "He confronted her. It caused a major rift between them." My mother looked shocked. "She never told me." "He chose not to escalate it," Graham said. "He worried it would destroy your relationship with her." The room felt heavy. "So she has been carrying this guilt for years," I said. "And resentment," Graham added. My mother whispered, "And fear. She has always been afraid that Edgar would be favored. She thought you would take everything from her." The truth settled like dust in the room. Thick, visible, painful. The pieces made sense now. Her jealousy, her bitterness, her need to control outcomes, her decision to steal the inheritance. It was not one moment. It was a lifetime of unspoken wounds. My mother wiped her eyes. "We need to bring her back," she said. "We need to fix this." Her voice was hopeful, fragile. Graham looked at her carefully. "She ran because she is cornered," he said. "She will not return willingly, not yet." My mother shook her head. "She is my daughter," she said. "She is hurt. I must speak to her." Graham sighed. "There is something you must know before you try. She came to the bank earlier today. She tried to withdraw the last remaining funds her father left for you, Mrs. Holt." My mother froze. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. "She tried again?" I asked. Graham nodded. "Yes. When the bank flagged it, she left immediately." My mother leaned back slowly, tears flowing again. "Oh, Marceline," she whispered, "what are you doing to yourself?" I felt a cold realization settle in my chest. She was spiraling, falling deeper into desperation, making choices she could not undo. This was no longer about money. This was about losing herself. My phone rang suddenly, an unknown number. When I answered, a familiar voice whispered, "Edgar, it is Caden. We need to talk. Now. It is about your sister." Caden's voice was shaky. It was the first time I had heard him sound uncertain. He had always carried a smug confidence, a false charm that kept people guessing about his intentions. Now he sounded frightened. "Edgar," he whispered, "please do not hang up. I need to explain. Things have gone too far." I stepped out into the hallway, away from my mother and Graham. "What do you want?" I asked. I need to talk in person, he said. She is not thinking clearly. She is spiraling. I tried to stop her, but she keeps pushing forward. You have to help her. I kept my voice steady. Where are you? He gave me the address of a small parking lot near the old train station, a quiet place. I told Graham where I was going and left immediately. When I arrived, Caden was pacing near his car. He looked thinner, more anxious. He moved like a man expecting someone to jump out of the shadows. He turned when he saw me. Thank you for coming, he said. Where is Marceline? I asked. She left, he replied. She is avoiding me too. I folded my arms. Talk. He took a long breath. She did not plan for this to explode like this, he said. At least not in the beginning. I stared at him. She forged my name, I said. She stole the inheritance. She planned to make me look unstable. How exactly did she not plan for this? He avoided my eyes. She thought the money would fix everything, he said softly. Your father was hard on her. More than you know. She felt overlooked. She felt unwanted. She believed he always chose you. She could have talked to me, I said. Instead, she attacked me. He sighed. She thought you had everything. She thought you would never understand. And when your father left the inheritance to you alone, it broke something inside her. His shoulders lowered. She told me she felt invisible, like she was a shadow in her own home. A quiet pain moved through me, not enough to excuse her actions, but enough to understand the depth of her anger. I asked, why involve you? Caden rubbed his forehead. She trusted me, and I made it worse. I convinced her to go through with it. I told her no one would question her. I told her you were too soft to fight. Hearing my own softness weaponized against me made something inside me sink. But once the money was gone, he continued, she changed. She started panicking. She realized what she had done. She realized she crossed a line she could not hide. He looked at me with tired eyes. She has not slept in days. She is scared. She is angry. She is blaming herself, then blaming you, then blaming everyone. She is not stable right now. I exhaled slowly. Where is she? I asked. I do not know, he said. But she went back to your father's old documents. She is searching for something. Something she believes he hid. I froze. Our father left no additional money, I said. That is not what she thinks, Caden replied. She believes there is another account, something bigger, something your father kept away from both of you. I shook my head. There is no other account. Graham would have told us, but Caden stepped forward. Are you sure, he asked. Your father trusted the lawyer, but he also trusted himself. He kept secrets. Marceline found notes. She thinks he planned something for her that he never finished. I frowned. Notes? Yes, Caden said. Old ones. About saving something for the child who struggles most. She thinks that is her. I stared at him. Where are these notes now? She has them, he said, and she plans to use them. How? To justify everything, he said. She wants to prove your father meant for her to have everything. She believes those notes will save her. He paused. But they will not. They do not hold legal weight. They will only make things worse. I leaned against the car door. What do you want from me, Caden? He swallowed hard. I want you to help her, he said. If she gets arrested, she will break. She is not built for prison, and without those funds, she has nothing left. I felt a sharp ache in my chest. I wanted justice. I wanted truth. I wanted peace. But I did not want to see my sister destroyed completely. Before I could respond, my phone vibrated. It was Graham. I answered immediately. Edgar, he said, you need to come back, now. The police called. They have located your sister. I froze. Caden's face went pale. Graham added quietly, and there is one more thing. Your father's other document has been found. Graham waited for us in his office when we returned. My mother looked drained, and her eyes were swollen from crying. Caden followed us in silently, but stayed near the door, unsure if he even belonged in the room. Graham did not acknowledge him. His focus stayed on my mother and me. They found her, Graham said quietly. She is safe for now. But we will talk about that after this. He picked up the second folder, the same one he had warned us about earlier. This, he said, is what your father left behind. Not part of the will, not part of the inheritance documents. This was a sealed personal letter. It arrived today after being held in storage. He placed the envelope on the table. My mother stared at it as if it might break open on its own. Mrs. Holt, he said gently, he addressed this to your son, but he wanted you to hear it too. My mother trembled. She nodded. I opened the envelope slowly. Inside was a thick handwritten letter. Familiar handwriting, firm strokes, calm lines. My father's voice on paper. I took a breath and began reading aloud. Edgar, my son, if you are reading this, then my time has passed. I hope you carry peace in your heart. You have always been quiet, but you have always seen people clearly. Your silence was never weakness, it was strength. My mother's eyes filled again. I continued, I need to tell you why I made the choices I did. You deserve answers. You deserve clarity. My father's words moved gently. Your sister has carried pain for many years. Pain I did not understand until it was too late. She felt the weight of the household long before you did. She believed she was forgotten. She believed she was second. I tried to reassure her, but I see now that my efforts were not enough. I paused. My throat tightened. My father continued. I never doubted her love, but I feared her struggle. I feared that giving her financial responsibility would break her further. I feared she would carry the money like another burden. My mother looked down. So I left it to you, not because you needed it more, but because I trusted your judgment, your calm, your patience. You think before you leap. You hold your emotions carefully. I believed you could carry the inheritance without letting it crush you. A deep ache formed in my chest. But this choice was not meant to divide you. I prayed she would see it as protection, not rejection. I prayed she would feel free to build her life without the pressure of managing what I left behind. I closed my eyes. My father's faith in me felt heavy, tender, painful. The next lines hit harder. I also left separate notes for your sister. Words meant to reassure her, to remind her she was not forgotten. I hid them in my study, thinking she would find them when the time was right. If she found them early, she may misunderstand them. Caden shifted uncomfortably behind me. That was exactly what had happened. I continued reading. She needed love, not wealth. She needed healing, not pressure. I wanted her to feel seen. I failed to do that in time. My mother broke down silently, shoulders shaking, tears falling freely. I read the final lines. Edgar, forgive her if you can. She is not your enemy. She is your sister, wounded in ways you could not see. Protect yourself, but do not let resentment guide you. And please take care of your mother. She will need you. My voice softened. And finally, use what I left you with wisdom. Let it build you. Let it free you. Let it honor this family, not divide it. The letter ended there. Silence filled the room. My mother covered her face. Caden looked away. Graham watched us quietly. I folded the letter carefully. My father had seen everything. He understood more than we knew. He tried to protect both of us, but his plans collided with wounds he could not heal. I felt pain, but I also felt clarity. My father's intentions were not the cause of this chaos. Silence was. Unspoken pain was. Hidden resentment was. Before I could speak, Graham said, Edgar, you need to prepare yourself. They are bringing your sister here. They brought her in the next afternoon. I was already in Graham's office with my mother when the door opened. Two officers stood on either side of Marceline. She was not in handcuffs, but she walked like someone carrying invisible chains. Her shoulders hunched. Her eyes were darker. Her hair was pulled back in a way that made her look strangely younger and older at the same time. When she saw us, she stopped. My mother stood up slowly. Marcy, she whispered. For a moment, something soft flickered in my sister's eyes. Then it vanished behind a wall of tired anger. The officers moved aside. Graham gestured to the empty chair. Please sit, he said. She sat, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. Her jaw clenched. This is not an arrest, Graham said calmly. Not yet. This is a meeting to decide what happens next. legally and as a family. She gave a short, bitter laugh. As a family, she repeated. Now we remember that word. My mother flinched. Graham continued. We have clear evidence of forgery, identity theft, fraud. You withdrew funds meant for Edgar by using his name. You attempted to withdraw your mother's funds as well. The bank has flagged your activity. The police are involved. They called me before proceeding further because of your father's history with this firm. She stared at the table. So this is where you all watch me fall, she said. I spoke for the first time. You were the one who jumped. She finally looked at me. Her eyes were tired, red, angry, hurt. You think you know everything, she said. You read some messages? You saw some numbers? You think that tells you my story? No, I replied, but it tells me what you did. Her lip trembled. I was drowning, Edgar, she said. You left. You had your own life, your own space, your own freedom. I stayed. I watched him fade. I listened to him praise you. I managed the pills, the hospital calls, the bills, the nights he forgot my name but remembered yours. My mother covered her face. That was not your fault, I said. None of that was. She shook her head. Maybe not, but it felt like it. Every day I watched you walk in as the son he admired, and I walked out as the daughter who was useful but forgettable. Her voice broke. Then he left the inheritance to you. Only you. Do you know what that felt like? Yes, I said softly. It felt heavy. She frowned. He trusted me, I continued, but not because I was better, because I was not carrying what you were carrying. He wrote it himself. He knew you were wounded. He did not want to crush you with more weight. She blinked slowly. Graham slid the letter across the table. This is what your father wrote, he said. Both of you needed to hear it. She hesitated, then picked it up. Her eyes moved across the page. As she read, her shoulders shook. A tear fell onto the paper. Then another. My mother moved closer. He saw you, Marcy, she said quietly. He saw your pain. He just did not know how to heal it. My sister pressed the letter to her chest for a moment, then lowered it. So he trusted you with the money, she said to me. And I stole it because I trusted no one. There it was, the clean truth. No excuses, no performance, just a confession. Graham cleared his throat. Legally, he said, this can go two ways. We press full charges and the court decides your sentence. Or Edgar and your mother agree to cooperate in a restitution plan. You return what remains. You sign over any assets purchased with those funds. You accept supervision and limits. The record will still exist, but the outcome will be less severe. She looked at me. So it is up to you, she said. You choose whether I drown or crawl out. My chest felt heavy. I thought about everything she had done, the lies, the betrayal, the plan to erase me, the messages about making me look unstable. I also thought about the nights she read me stories, the days she defended me, the years she carried burdens no one named. I took a slow breath. I will not protect you from consequences, I said. You did this. You chose it. You hurt me. You hurt our father's memory. You hurt our mother. She looked away. But I will not choose your destruction, I continued. I will agree to restitution. You will return what you can. You will face legal supervision. You will not touch our mother's accounts again. And you will get help, whether you like it or not. Her chin trembled. Why? She whispered. After everything? Because I will not become what hurt me, I said. And because he asked me to forgive you if I could. I tapped the letter lightly. He believed you could be more than your worst moment. I am choosing to believe that too. Silence filled the room. My mother sobbed openly now. She reached for both our hands. We are broken, she said, but we are still here. Let us not waste what is left. The officers waited by the door. Graham began explaining the terms. Restitution, monitoring, restrictions. I did not catch every detail. My mind was somewhere else. It stood in the quiet place where pain and mercy touch. Later that evening, I walked alone outside the building. The sky was soft with fading light. I held my father's letter in my hand. Betrayal had changed my family. Truth had broken it open. But in that breaking, something honest finally had room to grow. Here is what I learned. Family is not a shield against harm. Love does not cancel accountability. Forgiveness does not mean pretending nothing happened. You can protect your heart and still refuse to let bitterness own it. You can demand truth and still leave a door open for healing. As I folded the letter and slipped it into my pocket, I knew one thing clearly. My sister's choices would not define me. My response would. And I chose, with clear eyes and a guarded heart, to walk forward with truth, with boundaries, and with a quiet kind of mercy that did not erase what happened, but refused to let it be the end. Here's a question for you. Would you have forgiven her or pressed charges? Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, subscribe for more betrayals. 4 new stories are posted weekly. Sometimes the deepest wounds come from the people closest to us.